to Wildcat Sports Talk. Let's join Adam Webb and Tim Brandstetter now.
Welcome, everyone, into Wildcat Sports Talk, presented by the Kentucky Daily. And yes, we are live. We are here. It is literally, we're basically into July, and that is insane to me. And by the time people hear this on radio, we will be into July, and it's hard to believe because it's just, man, this summer has flown by.
It really has, man. It really has. In a way it has, in a way it hasn't.
Yeah, there's some things that have made it kind of slow, but then,
like waiting for football season.
Well, that's the one thing. I tell you, we're all excited about football season. I know I'm totally excited about football season, but there's some things to talk about, right? In the basketball front, anyway. Big time recruits around the board.
What is the Bahama games coming up?
The Bahamas, yeah. Are you excited for that?
Yes, I love it when they do that.
You do?
Yeah.
Are you?
I wish they do it every year instead of every 4 years. I think it's awesome. I really do, man.
859-428-8419 is the Kentucky Daily Hotline. 859-428-8419 is the number to call. If you want to get in on the show, I'd like to hear from you. I really would. So, and if if you want to just call and leave a message, then you can do that too. I'm cool with that too. So, yeah, all right. Give us a call. Couple different things going on this week, though. And by the way, Scott's Art, nice to see you on. Mark, nice to see you as well. So, there were some things I wanted to kind of. I've been meaning to kind of talk about this on the show, and for me, it's time. We should do this.
Let's do it.
So, we have talked about this a little bit off the air, right? And we also we talked about this earlier. Like, are we as excited now as we normally are in previous years, or do you think the excitement level has dwindled?
You're talking about basketball.
Yes,
it's definitely dwindled. We're always going to be excited about basketball season, but man, there's no way. There's no way you can be as excited after what happened the last couple seasons.
Adam, are you going to be doing Middlesboro football this season again? I would love to do Middlesboro football this season again. So, Brian O'Brien.
I was going to say, is that call been made
at 106.3, the big one, he has to make the call. So, I'm just saying, I would love to do it again. So, it's up to him, which, he's the man over there.
That's true, man. Austin brings in a good question about the running backs. Bringing in, my opinion on running backs being brought in. Seems bad news for C-Rod. I don't know if it's definitely bad news. That's one way of looking at it. But I think the thing is you always just got to have backup plans.
Well, he just won an award, too.
Yeah, I know.
Literally just won an award. So, you don't know. Maybe I would assume that, they don't give those out unless they realize, that he has a shot to play.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know if that's a factor.
I've been told that we're going to see him. Just to what capacity, nobody knows yet.
Yeah.
So, in any capacity would be great. But, folks, listen, we got plenty of smoke back there.
They don't want that smoke.
Did you see it?
I think Cavassier Smoke could have a breakout season, but I don't know if he's even number one in the rotation. You got a couple other guys. We got a lot of good running backs, man. We do. I think we're going to be fine. We're going to be fine at running back. I would love to have, C-Rod available for the first game, but unfortunately, man, that's just not going to happen. But with that said, we're deeper at running back than we normally are, and we've got some good receivers coming in. We're going to have a lot more options there. Will Levis is going to be back for year number 2, and that's scary, man. Will Levis back for year number 2. I'm all about that.
And look, we got a Tennessee transfer.
Oh, I love it.
That
awesome.
Doesn't get any better than that.
That's awesome.
The Tennessee transfers are where it's at.
It's good to see guys grow up and mature and realize they need to be in other places.
And you said mature.
Yeah.
That's the thing. That is the key. That's when you realize you've grown from, Tennessee to any other college football program. That's when you've matured.
Yeah. It just shows signs of maturity. I mean,
You
like
know?
I'm going to move up, go head north.
Right.
Move up to the good guys.
Yeah. To the deluxe apartment, in the sky.
In the sky.
Except, well, that's metaphorical, isn't it? Like they're going to heaven. Moving on up.
That's a little extreme.
But I mean, seriously, to the deluxe apartment in the sky. I just realized that.
You just realized the lyrics?
Yeah,
to that
I
song?
just realized that. Yeah.
Well,
I know. So yeah. Tim, the next thing, if Kentucky is to be good in basketball this year, you get Severe Wheeler, you get Oscar Tshiebwe. They're back. 2 best players on the team last year.
yeah.
People
Bookends. That's the bookends, I call them. The point and the center.
Right.
And then just fill in those other 3 positions because we want those guys on the floor a lot, the most of the time, the bulk of the game. So fill in those other 3 positions. But honestly, man, I was looking at it, and we could not have anybody come in and be pretty good. Now, I know you're looking at it and going, well, we wasn't that good. We were pretty good last year. We didn't finish strong, but we were a pretty good team last year. And then you throw in C.J. Frederick, who's already there. I can't wait to see him play.
I got a question.
Oh, wait, and Toppin. Let me
And
throw
this
that
is-
in. Jacob Toppin.
This is for the folks out there, and this is primarily, honestly, this is a debate that you and I are going to have tonight.
Okay. I'm going to disagree with you, sounds like.
I think you might, although I don't know. Tim, I hate the NBA.
I get it.
I hate it.
I'm not going to debate that because I'm not a big fan of the NBA. I'm just a big fan of basketball.
But
And
I hate
college
the
basketball.
NBA.
Well, when college basketball's not going on, then I start watching
Here's
the NBA.
why. On draft night, we sat and watched a guy like Ty Washington, who played his rear end off for the University of Kentucky, drop all the way to 29th, and a dude that hadn't played in 2 years go 7. That's a load. And the NBA is rewarding players for not playing in college. They're setting that precedent. Hey, don't play in college. Come here.
It is a bad thing to do because what's going to stop other kids? Look, if you're coming out of high school and they go, this kid right here is a top 5 lottery pick in the NBA draft. Why would you play a game in college? If you're projected top 5,
I wouldn't.
why would you play?
I wouldn't.
I wouldn't either.
And I don't like the precedent that they're setting. They're not teaching kids that you got to work to get what you want.
But here's the thing, man. Let's be honest about it. You're right, and I agree with that. But it's all about money.
No,
The world's
I
all
think
about
money
money.
is a factor to it. But I mean, now I'm going to sound like I'm 900 years old.
Well, I'm
right
just
now.
saying, though, man. At the end of the day,
But dude, I think it's a generational thing.
well,
I really do, man,
kinda
because we
is,
grew up believing that you work your rear end
Right.
off and you put your back in hard sweat and tears to get to here, and this generation just doesn't believe that.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, just across the board, and I'm sorry, that just I mean, I see it everywhere, and millennials especially get knocked for this. But and I'm going off on a tangent here, but really, I got to know this. And see, and correct me if I'm wrong, but is this not a generational thing where, like, you don't hear of people staying in jobs 10 and 15 years anymore?
yeah, loyalty is becoming a thing of the past.
And I don't understand why people don't want to put the grind in to get where you want to be. Everybody starts out and they want to be here.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
We
experienced-
know that.
We know that firsthand.
We know. I mean,
Yeah.
if you've watched the show.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah. People always, they're like, oh, I want to do this, and I'll work hard, and I'll do a good job, but I want to start at the top. I don't want to start down there at the bottom.
Yeah, I don't want to be the janitor first.
No.
You
Dude,
know?
you know how I got into sports writing? You know how? I was inserting ads into the newspaper.
You know how I got into radio?
Yeah.
I came in as a intern, making nothing, doing board operating work, and the first time I ever spoke on the radio was reading obituaries.
You paid your dues.
Then the first thing they let me do in radio was call a softball tournament for North Laurel.
Mm-hmm.
And the only reason they let me do that is because it was all the way out in Owensboro, and nobody wanted to drive 4 hours to do it.
Well, it's a lot like my story. I started inserting ads in the newspaper. I got my big break whenever they said, we need someone to go cover a South Laurel football game and just take a few pictures. That's it. Just take a few pictures and bring them back to us. We'll pay you like $20. Dude, I couldn't have been more happy about that. I was so excited, And then it gradually worked into, well, you know what? Keep stats this time. Go take some pictures and keep some stats and bring them back to us. And then all of a sudden it turned into, hey, won't you see if you can write us a story? I mean, kids today, do you think they would start off like we did? They don't. They don't have the mindset. To work their way up.
They don't want to work their way up.
Mm-mm.
But man, I'll be honest with you. The first time I read obituaries, because see, back when I read obituaries, when I first started, back in the early 2000s, the radio station that I worked for, which I can just say it was in London, Kentucky. Most of y'all know it as Sam 103.9. I think it was 103.9 The Wolf back then. They had the AM station there. And back then, they still had cart machines. Now, folks, if you don't know what that is, I can't explain it. But anyway, long story short, on the AM station, there was no ability to record the obituaries. So when they came on at certain times throughout the day, you had to do it live. So the first time I ever did it, it was a hot mic.
Wow.
And I was nervous.
Yeah, I bet.
But I'll never forget turning that on and just hearing my voice over. It was always what I wanted to do.
Yeah, that's awesome.
When I was a kid, and I can actually pull it up and I'll show you all this at some point in time one day. But I've got actual recordings of me when I was like 7 years old pretending I was on the radio.
That's awesome.
So that's always what I wanted to do. It's always what I was my passion in life. And that's what my whole point is. These kids that play basketball, their whole lives are basketball.
Mm-hmm.
So wouldn't you think they would want to work and continue? Because they had to work to get to there.
Well, here's the thing, Adam. I mean, a lot of these guys, they think once they've been projected as a top 5 or top 10 lottery pick, they did the work to get there.
Yeah, they do believe that.
I mean? That they already put the work in. I mean, there's a way to look at it. But I can definitely relate, like what you were saying. I'll never forget.
Christopher asks, I got to interrupt you because we got to answer some questions here. The teams who are basically not that one.
Is Levis legitimately a shot? Has a legitimate
legit shot at the Heisman. Listen, I think he does.
I do too.
And here's the thing, and here's why. And I'm going to go on record in saying this, and I know we have a lot of old timers on this show, and that's fine. But if Will Levis has the year that I think he's going to have, Tim Couch ain't the one no more.
Well, and you know what, man? We have a legitimate shot of competing for the East. We do.
Tim Couch never did. No, but now, to be fair, he didn't have the people Will Levis has around him.
He didn't have the team.
But my point is, I have said, and I tell you what, you and I got made fun of. We did a whole post-game show after the first game of the season. Mm-hmm. We said, dude, this guy's got Tim Couch,
everybody
likeness.
was like, hold on.
And now he's projected to be the best quarterback in the league this year. We were right.
Well, you know why we were right?
We'd see it.
You could see it on the field. It don't matter who he was playing.
Yeah.
He had the fire and the grit in his eyes.
You just know,
man.
like that
he's
pass
a
that
winner.
he's got.
And you know what? Here, let me say this. See if you agree with me on this. We almost knew it before we even saw him play. Whenever we interviewed him. Do you remember after we interviewed him, we both looked at each other and were like, dude, that dude's a stud. Like, he knows he's the leader of this team.
We were there.
They never even announced him as the starting quarterback yet.
We walked out of there going, if Levis doesn't start, we have a problem.
Yeah. And it was nothing against anybody else. But we were like, that kid's starting and he knows it. He's the leader of this team.
Yeah.
I mean, the guy's got confidence, man.
My dad says Levis has to show up big in the big time in the big games to be there. Remember, Tim was the number 1 pick. Yeah. And then what I'm saying is, they're starting to kind of project.
People are saying that. They're already saying
Will Levis
to
be the number 1 pick. Yeah. I asked the same question and got a lot of mixed answers. I'm telling you, it is not. it's not a topic that people want to admit. You know what I'm saying? They don't want to say that. Like, I know Tim Couch is held on this same pedestal, but we've got to quit that. We're not Tennessee.
Well,
okay, we're not Tennessee.
You want me to start a real debate?
Peyton Manning. Peyton Manning is held on this pedestal for Tennessee fans, and I get it. He's great. He is top 5 of all time quarterbacks ever. Okay, I'll put him there. But man, like, we got to quit that with Tim Couch, because I'm going to tell you, numbers-wise, and y'all can go back and look at this and call me crazy if you want to, but Andre Woodson was actually better than Tim Couch.
Andre Woodson.
And I get it. Folks are like,
yeah.
well, you've never had Tim Couch on the show, but you've had Andre Woodson on the show. Yes, my bias is showing.
Yeah.
But my point is, you just look at numbers.
Well, and Coleman Scott is exactly right. If Will Levis played for Bama or Georgia, he would be the hands-down favorite to win the Heisman. There's no doubt about it.
Right.
But Kentucky's just right below there, man. They're right. They can get there. I mean, they're right. They're knocking on the door.
Here's what's crazy about this, and this is uncharted territory for Kentucky fans. We've not been here before. People are like, act like you've been there before. We haven't.
No.
So we haven't.
No.
And
we've
it's
been
okay.
knocking on the door, but we've not walked through yet.
The only thing that I think is going to be the detriment to our success, if you watch film, Couch was much better than Woodson. Okay, here's the thing. Film does not lie. You're exactly right. Stevie got loose. Name big time memory plays with Tim Couch. Just do that.
Woodson beat number 1 LSU, right? Number 1 in the country. Okay, didn't he have the longest streak with no interceptions or completions? He was breaking records.
Let me ask you all a question.
Records.
Here's the best question to ask, because I know the majority of the people watching this.
And here's another thing they keep saying. I want to bring up this point. Keep in mind, Tim Couch played for air raid. Let's throw it on 1st, 2nd, 3rd, and 4th down. No matter what the situation, we're throwing it.
Exactly.
Woodson didn't have that. Woodson had a real team that had running backs.
But here's the other part. Here's the next part to this whole equation. Tim Couch's best win record was 7 wins. In his entire career. Tim, did you hear what I just said?
I did. 7 wins was the most he had.
7 wins. Now,
which is not his fault.
Not his fault, and I get that. But if you hold Michael Jordan to being the greatest of all time, which most people do because of wins, you got to at least look at Andre Woodson.
We got people fired up tonight.
Oh, we got them fired up. And it's my dad, of course, I'm sure. I can't get it answered. What's going on here? Boy, this is a mess. Look at that. I can't even get it answered.
You're not prepared. You throw the number out and don't even know how to answer it.
It's not wanting to get it on there. It's like it's glitched or something. It don't like me. I can't. It's glitched. There it is. Now, and did I get him? No, I didn't get him. Call back, Dad. I didn't get you. My goodness. I tried. I really did. I tried. I was trying.
Christopher said Lorenzen was a better quarterback than Woodson. I loved Andre. I loved Lorenzen. I absolutely have a special place in my heart for Lorenzen, but I don't know about that.
That's true. All right. What you got for me, Dad?
Okay. Well, let's back off on Woodson was better than Couch because of the numbers.
But he was.
Numbers lie, apparently.
No, there's only one number. If you really check on it, his completion percentage was 61. And Tim's was 59, give or take. And so, therefore, that's the only one Woodson was better at. He also attempted less passes than Couch. So you can call it air raid, you can call it whatever.
Everybody in the world's attempted less passes than Couch.
No, you better check Mr. Jared Lorenzen, because he threw the ball down the field quite a bit.
Yeah, that's true.
Jared did throw the ball a lot. But the thing about Jared was, Jared would have been a lot more successful had he had an actual O-line. But Jared was just so dang big, nobody could bring him down.
You're right. But, you're comparing. We always compare eras, and that's really hard when you start dealing with my MJ, Kobe, LeBron, whomever. We always start dealing with eras, and time frames are different. Will Levis is going to be a great quarterback this year as long as the parts around him stay healthy.
Yep, you're right. I'm concerned about his O-line. A lot of people aren't, but I am. I'm a little concerned about his O-line.
I'll go out and say this, too, while you're on here. I mean, it's easy to get excited about the guy you've got right now because we're always excited about what we're watching right now and who we're cheering for right now. But I just love to watch Will Levis play the game. I love the fact that if he needs 2 yards, he's not running out of bounds a yard short. He's not taking, he's not sliding. He's going to get that yard. If he's got to run through you or jump over you, and then he's going to jump up and let you know that he got that yard. And he's so much fun to watch.
I agree. And like I said earlier, he's got to show up against Florida and Georgia this year and Tennessee, and his team has got to help him. And I think that's something that he can kind of do. And as much as a lot of people are against NIL money, I think Will Levis' brand has grown a lot, and his team has grown a lot, and I think people respect him a lot more for that. So, but he's got to – I'll get off here, but he's got to show up against the Georgias and the Floridas and the Tennessees this year. We can't get beat by Tennessee or Florida. Florida's got a brand
You're exactly
new
right, and that was going to be my next point, is that I'm sick and tired of losing to Tennessee. We've been better than them on paper for the last probably 5 years.
I was going to say we should have beat them the last 5 years, and now we should be doing that to Florida. Now that's the next step, and I agree.
So I'll get off here and listen to the rest of it. This old man kind of gets tired of you young guys always talking. So talking trash about the old.
It's hard for us to hate on those old heads. They get mad.
Yeah, they get tore up.
I don't get mad. I just get even.
Yeah.
Talk to y'all later.
See you,
All
buddy.
right, we'll see you. So yeah. Well, the thing is, Tim Couch, to me, and I'm just going back to this. Tim Couch to me, I've never said he was great. Don't get me wrong, he was great.
He was wonderful.
But I think what a lot of people do with his era. And I'm sorry, I'm going to say it. You know what I'm getting ready to say, don't you?
I think so.
What am I getting ready to say?
They project that. They put it on a pedestal.
They put that era on a pedestal. Why? Because it's the only pedestal in Kentucky history where both basketball and football were decent. You know what I mean? And I mean basketball was better than decent. 96, 97, 98. Those were the trifecta of best years in college in our history. Yeah. So I'm just saying, I think everybody puts that pedestal with that, and they loved it, and they're like, because they didn't care how bad we were as a football team.
Let's be honest.
Because our basketball team was so good, but because our quarterback was fun to watch, and also in Tim Couch's credit though, that was a hard era to play in.
Yeah,
that was a really hard. I mean, you had T. Martin. Peyton, you had all those guys.
I'll never say a bad word about Tim Couch. I absolutely love him, love the memories, amazing football player. I still got a big poster of him on my wall. I love Tim Couch, but there's been some other really good players too, and people do like to put him up there for certain reasons.
On a
He's
pedestal.
a Kentucky boy.
On a pedestal.
Yeah.
What's up? You're on with Wildcat Sports Talk.
Hey, fellas.
Oh, my goodness.
How we doing?
I have been watching a little Kentucky football over my lifetime here. And
have you?
I am. This is Jimbo, by the way.
Jimbo, I didn't recognize you. Hey, what's up, Jimbo?
I had surgery this morning, so I'm on the happy sauce. But let me tell you something. You guys are talking about Tim Couch he played in this era and he played in that era. You know what Tim Couch didn't have?
He didn't have a lot of things.
Well, he didn't have Mark Stoops.
Exactly.
Well, you're exactly right.
Yep.
You're exactly right.
Tim Couch was a magnificent football player.
Yep.
And much more than just the dink and dunk passer that people say he was. And I posted in the comments, people don't just call Michael Jordan the greatest because of his wins. It's the championship wins, the significant wins. What was Woodson's most significant win?
I mean, it had to be beating number one team in the nation that won the national championship, right?
Yeah, number one LSU.
And didn't Tim Couch knock off Alabama for the first time in over 50 years?
Yeah, when Alabama was horrible.
I was going to say, did they win the national championship?
Were they
that year?
horrible?
I don't remember.
They were did
they win the championship?
Wasn't
I
that,
honestly don't know. Did they?
But wasn't that right after Bear Bryant retired? They had nobody.
I really don't know if they won the championship that year. It's a serious question. Did they win
Bear
it?
Bryant didn't just retire when Tim Couch was.
What I'm saying, my point is like he retired and they went on this tangent of being bad for several years, and that's when we finally knocked them off.
I honestly don't remember what they did that year that we beat them.
I remember the
beating
win,
them. Yeah,
but I mean it was before Saban came along, and they just weren't that good.
Did they win it all that year? I don't remember. If they didn't win it all that year, it wasn't as good as the LSU win. I mean, just to be fair, it was.
That wasn't. No.
And they played good. Like, how many championships does Alabama have?
Yeah, but I mean, you could look at Kentucky.
Well, okay.
And say how many championships they've got.
How many championships does Saban have at Alabama? Like, Saban's the GOAT.
Well, and that,
sure.
I guarantee. But I mean,
he's
wasn't
not the only who ever coached at Alabama that was a winner. Like, it's what they do. It's what they do at Kentucky.
Well,
basketball.
but I mean, if you look at that era wasn't. I mean, they weren't very good.
I don't know about that.
I mean,
I'll do a little research and we'll compare on that one. But yeah.
Hey, let's just make this straight, Jimbo. I want to get this straight. We're not trying to take anything away from Tim Couch. We're just trying to pull up Woodson a little bit. Is what we're trying to do.
Oh, well, that wasn't how it came off at all.
Yeah, no. It's just well, that's the thing, though. If you argue that somebody's better than people who think is the greatest ever, then you think they're just putting down that guy. We're not really.
And
like I said right before you called.
Plus, if we don't get
I'm
on
a
here,
huge-
if we don't get in here and on here and make people mad, then people stop watching.
It could be very boring, yeah, if we didn't get people fired up.
But let me ask you, like, do you think Tim Couch or Woodson or either one are the greatest quarterback there for UK? Because I don't think.
Well, not ever, but I mean in the modern era that we actually seen play. You know what I mean? Probably. You know what I mean? You can go back far enough to where I don't even remember seeing the guys or watching them. You know what I mean? But yeah, I know there was. Yeah.
So
what was the guys?
for the record, folks, and I'm just going to go ahead and set the record straight here, Jimbo. All right, because I was right. I love when I'm right, Tim.
What
You know I got to be right.
What was you right about?
So a lot of folks are saying that Bama was pretty good, but they're thinking about '96. Well, we didn't beat them in '96 because they went 10-3 that year, and we beat them in '97 when they went 4-7 and 2-6 in the SEC.
We beat a 4-win Alabama team that's Jimbo's bringing on this call.
So there you go.
Come on now, Jimbo.
Well, we're talking about quarterbacks here, and you're talking about. I agree with you. You're right. I give you props on that, but. On the if we're talking about modern era quarterbacks, then why is the discussion Tim Couch or Andre Woodson when it should be Will Levis?
Well, it kind of is Will Levis. We've been talking about Will Levis too. I think me and Adams both. Well, actually, that's how it started. Remember, we started this conversation saying, "Can Will Levis pass up Tim Couch?" And then you said, "Well, by the way, I think Woodson's better than Couch." That's kind of how it got. It kind of got there a weird way, but it didn't start there.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah. I mean, you don't want to put, huh?
Will pass Couch in what?
Just being the best.
I mean, as far as his winning, I think he's already passed it.
Oh yeah,
his numbers won't touch it.
Yep.
They won't touch it either. I mean, he's a 2-year player.
Yeah, that's the thing, Jimbo. Actually, while I got you on the phone, I want to bring this up, and I think about this all the time when people debate LeBron and Jordan and Steph and all the debates with guys that played in different eras. I always wonder this. Like, I get in these arguments all the time on Facebook with people, and they start comparing like rings and championships and wins and stats and. That's probably is the best way to do it. It's the only way but stats are so skewed and errors are different. If you look at it, Tim Couch had to throw the ball a whole lot because that was the way they did it. Now we run the ball a little bit more, so that's going to change numbers. I'm not making excuses for that, but I guess what I'm trying to say is a lot of times whenever I'm in my head going, Will Levis is a better quarterback than Tim Couch, I'm not even looking at any numbers or any wins or anything. I'm just looking at the eye test, the eye test of what one guy can do compared to another guy can do. And I'm not saying Will Levis is better than Couch yet. I'm thinking he's knocking on that door.
I agree with you. I think that's the only real comparison you can do is the eye test, because numbers are never going to be comparable.
Right.
Well, listen, we got to get to our break because we're like 10 minutes over.
Oh, I'm going to add something else before you go too. My eye test says Steph Curry's the best basketball player to ever play.
I disagree, but I do think he's top three or four.
I know, man. I know you respect him. He's up there.
Yeah, he's way above LeBron.
Yes. Thank
100%. Yeah.
All right. You guys have.
Thanks for the call, brother.
All right.
See you guys.
So hey, look, see, man, I tell you what, hey,
that was a good call. Jimbo brought it strong, and that was a good call.
We're a lot like, and I hate to say that because like Tennessee fans hold Peyton Manning to that pedestal, and we do Tim Couch too, and I hate that. Well, I mean, it skews our vision sometimes.
Michael Jordan pedestal too.
Well, but Michael Jordan's different. He is the greatest of all time.
He's still on that pedestal.
Yeah, but he's the greatest of all time.
Well,
period.
We'll see how long that lasts.
You're not jumping on that train. Dude, I'll throw you right out of that chair.
Dude.
Because Steph Curry is not an all-around player like Michael Jordan.
What?
He's not.
Okay, because he's 6 foot.
Yes. Michael Jordan can do it all. That's just it. Debate over. We'll be back. You're listening to Wildcat Sports Talk, presented by the Kentucky Daily. Well, we got all kinds of people watching tonight. And, of course, we do. Right before we go to a break, please stick around. It's only going to get better after this.
I'm going to fight with Adam when we come back.
Yeah, that's right.
If you've been injured in an accident through no fault of your own, you have options. Don't let insurance companies tell you what your case is worth. Call me, Jeremy Bryant, at 606-261-7381. At Bryant Law, we want you to get the highest possible recovery for your injuries. We can help you with your car wreck, slip and fall, or workers' compensation case. No one should have to withstand the pain, suffering, and inconvenience of a debilitating injury without just compensation. Bryant Law, experience you can trust. Come see Kentucky Creative Bistro and Gallery at South Park Center in Corbin. We are an art gallery and bistro serving a variety of sandwiches, cakes, and coffees. We cater to offices, large groups, and deliver to the local area. If you dine in, you'll experience the vast talent that Kentucky has to offer. Our selections for sale include paintings, photography, and crafts. If you are a Kentucky artist wanting to get your work out to the world, contact us today. We are also now seeking writers for our new endeavor, Kentucky Creative Press.
Is it you don't have to, or is it you just not that good at it?
The innocence of youth. Is there anything any better? But soon they'll be in high school and facing all the same challenges you faced. How to make friends, how to fit in, how to be cool. We want our children to have everything they'll need to live fulfilling and productive lives. Make sure the kids in your family are among the more than 110,000 participants here in Kentucky who take part in high school sports.
Like what we do? Share this on your socials and tell everyone.
Welcome in. It's Big Blue Nation's best kept secret. Wildcat Sports Talk.
859-428-8419 is the number to call if you want to get in on the show. You know, I don't even know who Tim is anymore. I mean, he's going to sit here and tell me that Steph Curry is jumping into the greatest of all time. And I just can't.
He's in the conversation.
I mean, okay, conversation, maybe. But you have to understand something. I mean, three-peating twice is that to me, honestly, people say 6 rings, right? Well, 6 rings really ain't a whole lot when you compare other players that have more. So if we're just going off the ring debate, I get why people say that doesn't really hold up.
You know,
but three-peating twice and retiring in between is the most crazy thing anyone has ever done in the history of the game.
That is amazing for a team, for a franchise.
what I'm saying is, when he retired, they didn't win a title. Okay?
I know, dude, I love
He's
Jordan.
the reason.
Jordan's the GOAT. I get it, but
they won it.
But the thing is, Steph's in the conversation because Steph has changed the game more than any player who ever played the game. Steph has had a bigger impact on basketball than anybody.
Listen, hold on. Now, I have to defend you on this one. Curry can't guard my dad, apparently.
Well, Curry led the league in steals one year.
Curry.
Boom, mic drop.
Curry
led the league in steals.
Curry's a pretty good I mean, the thing about Curry is he can defend guys that are fast, and he defended Braun. I mean, he put Braun on skates once. I remember that.
Well, that was Braun defending him, but yeah.
Yeah, but I'm just
You
saying.
know what I love is, though, here's what's great. Steph can't guard anybody. You mean the anybody's that can't guard him? That's who you're talking about? So when you say Steph can't guard anybody, he's outscoring everybody he guards.
He doesn't need to guard anybody.
He outscores everybody he guards. Everybody. Right? By a long shot.
The Rockets would have never had chips in 94-95 if Jordan hadn't retired. Boom.
I agree.
Mic drop.
I agree with that. That's not a mic drop.
Yeah, it
moment.
is.
No, yeah, it's a premature mic drop
That's
moment. No, that's it's true, but everybody.
But I mean,
knows,
it's true.
Everybody
It's
knows
a fact.
That. It's like me.
I mean, people.
It's like me
and
arguing with a
this
Tennessee
is what-
fan. Blue's
this is
better
what
than
frust-
orange. Sky's blue. Mic
And
drop.
by the way, that's the argument too, where people are like, "Well, yeah, no, Michael Jordan had Scottie Pippen." Well, Scottie Pippen couldn't win in 94 and 95.
Scottie Pippen would have been Scotty without Michael Jordan. Nobody even know who his last name.
And by the way, like, here's the thing: Russell Westbrook, Anthony Davis, LeBron James,
sitting at home watching the playoffs. Yeah.
That's the thing that gets me. Like, they had a super team and still couldn't get it done. So,
Tim Beeson coming in
Well,
the
I-
worst
yeah.
take of all time. Love you, Tim. But
yeah, I want to go back to the, Bill Russell days.
yeah, I mean, I tell you what,
When he was the only player in the league that was that tall
I
and
think
that
we
good.
should put a peach basket back up and climb up after every basket and get it out.
Yeah.
That's I want whoever was the best then.
We want Wawa Jones back at Kentucky
Yeah.
too, so
Yeah.
you know.
Dude, I want to go back to the time where a behind the back pass would get you benched. The game has evolved so much.
Yeah, it
man.
has.
Nobody even plays back to the basket no more. Nobody. 7-footers are shooting threes now. You know why? Because Steph made them.
Yeah.
You have to shoot threes now or you can't play in the game. You can't play in the NBA.
Yeah. Oh man. All scores score. All scores.
Now he's going to take Jabbar, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. He's a legend, but my goodness, could you imagine somebody playing like him
Oh
today?
man, I said something about Bill Russell, so now everybody's coming in saying,
Could you imagine Bill Russell or Kareem Abdul-Jabbar trying to play today?
bringing up Wilt Chamberlain. I forgot about Wilt. My bad.
1,000-point scorer. He scored like 1,000 in one game or something. No, he scored 100 points in one game, didn't he?
Yeah.
He did score 100 points in one game.
Yeah. Yeah. You know what? We've become.
1,000 was a different number. 1,000 was a different number.
Yeah.
He achieved
Yeah.
off the court.
Yeah. Yeah. Rups runts days, Derek says. Yeah,
Yeah.
Here's the thing. Like, it is hard to compare eras, and I guess that's kind of always been our point. But if you look at – here's the thing I think it really boils down to for everybody. Whether they want to admit it or not, this is it. Who was more fun to watch?
The funnest player to watch.
Who was
ever.
more fun to watch?
Michael Jordan. And why do we even have basketball? For entertainment, right?
And people are like, well, I mean, are you just basing it because he was fun to watch? Well, yeah, I like to be entertained.
Yeah.
I enjoy it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, here's the thing for me. Hey, how about this? I got another one for you. Another reason that backs up my
John North said they were playing against guys who had part-time jobs.
That's true. Yeah, they were making
That's
30.
hilarious.
They were making $22K a year in the NBA.
Derek, I agree with you. Jody Meeks' 54 was more impressive than Russell's 100.
Against the Wizard of Oz cast.
It's funny. Like, I don't listen. Don't anybody get mad at us because we're not disrespecting the older guys. It's just the game was so much different back then. You know what I mean?
I mean,
back then you wanted to be 7 foot tall and hit all layups.
Okay, but here's the thing. You and I have said this over the years, and we fight about this sometimes off the air. You always get on to me because I have so much love for that 98 championship team at Kentucky. Well, dude, they were fun to watch. Like they just were. I honestly, and I want to ask Kentucky fans out there. Maybe this is a generational thing. I don't know. I'm getting ready to find out. I bet I'm getting ready to get lit up. At 96, all right, you take that 96 season and compare it to 98. What was more fun to watch?
Every single game. There's not even a comparison, dude. 98 team, if they didn't win a national championship, I probably wouldn't remember them.
Dude, why? But I mean, like, why would you even say that?
There was nothing fun about that.
There was nothing fun about coming back and beating Duke, and nothing fun about
you know what? Let me tell you something.
About four dudes that couldn't shoot.
Look, it's exciting that they had to come back every game against nobodies and win. That was exciting.
And also, by the way, 4 dudes that had no business being there.
But it was exciting that they had to come back and win.
And Allen Edwards.
Here's the thing: is you know why they had to come back? Because they got behind.
Well, yeah,
the 96
but nothing
team,
was fun about Wayne Turner.
In the 96 year, at halftime, teams were begging to go home. Like, we're done.
Yeah, okay.
We're down 30 with no game plan. We can't guard anybody.
Like, isn't there not anything fun about coming back and doing the unthinkable?
But listen, the 96 team, when people played the 96 Cats, they couldn't get the ball across half court.
All right, I think 98 had a more exciting run.
Well, it was exciting because it was supposed to happen because they wasn't good. I mean, yeah, it's exciting when David beats Goliath, right?
You're killing me, Tim.
I mean, it is exciting when you're not supposed to win. But, dude, it's exciting to beat people's breaks off, too. Every team you played by 30 points, they averaged beating people by 24 points, average. Dude. I mean, come on.
Try to compare Dan Issel, Kenny Walker, Jamal Mashburn. Why? 3 different eras.
I'll take Mashburn.
Monster Mash. That's a whole other debate, man. I said that on one show, and I about got lit up to pieces.
Dude, that's a good.
I just don't
all
understand.
All those guys are great, though.
I don't understand I don't understand the Mashburn love. I don't understand it. Don't get it. What was good about that era?
Oh, I got to address
I mean, we were coming back, but we didn't win anything.
Your dad's got a really good question about Steph changing the game.
Well, we got to go to break. Well, when we return, we're going to keep this rolling. Guys, you don't want to go anywhere. This is probably the most off-the-rails show we've had probably in the history of this show, so stick around.
If you've been injured in an accident through no fault of your own, you have options. Don't let insurance companies tell you what your case is worth. Call me, Jeremy Bryant, at 606-261-7381. At Bryant Law, we want you to get the highest possible recovery for your injuries. We can help you with your car wreck, slip and fall, or workers' compensation case. No one should have to withstand the pain, suffering, and inconvenience of a debilitating injury without just compensation. Bryant Law, experience you can trust. Come see Kentucky Creative Bistro and Gallery at South Park Center in Corbin. We are an art gallery and bistro serving a variety of sandwiches, cakes, and coffees. We cater to offices, large groups, and deliver to the local area. If you dine in, you'll experience the vast talent that Kentucky has to offer. Our selections for sale include paintings, photography, and crafts. If you are a Kentucky artist wanting to get your work out to the world, contact us today. We are also now seeking writers for our new endeavor, Kentucky Creative Press.
The deadly tornadoes that ripped through western and south central Kentucky destroyed homes, devastated communities, and unfortunately claimed the lives of our fellow Kentuckians. Radio and television stations across the Commonwealth have united as one voice in order to help. Please consider supporting the Team Western Kentucky Relief Fund today. Simply go to kba.org and click the Donate Now button. This message of hope is brought to you by the Kentucky Broadcasters Association and this station.
I can't even do it.
Wondering how you can show your love? Head over now to Facebook and drop a like.
Welcome back to Wildcat Sports Talk.
You know what? I can't.
Some of the things we say during breaks funnier than during the show.
But it's like, God. Everybody's talking about MASH now.
MASH was amazing.
Listen,
man.
I don't get the love. I don't get it.
I know
Maybe
you
can
don't
help
get
me.
it.
I don't get it.
I
mean,
totally
I was like
get it.
6.
Yeah,
so,
well,
I mean,
you didn't get anything but a Happy Meal back then.
But I mean, you know, you were like what, 16?
Yep. What Jamal Mashburn done, man, was he put Kentucky back on the map, man. Like, he made Kentucky exciting again. Like, he ran that team. Like, we went through a rough time, man, before Mashburn came along. You know, it kind of got a little rough there, and he brought them back. Like, he brought Kentucky back, and nothing against the guys that he played with, but he carried the load.
Well, I mean, okay, I get it, but like, what really did we accomplish in that era?
Just being exciting again, being like showing that you can win and compete, and having a player that was up there on the national level.
So, I'm going to close out this last segment by going to this. I think that our fan base needs to just embrace for the first time. We just need a bunch of one and dones.
Yeah, Cal had it right.
He figured it out.
I think Cal had it right. Look, wait, before we get on that, don't forget, because that's a real good subject. I got to answer your dad's question about Tim. He said, legit question, Steph has changed the game. Is it all for the better? The Celtics in the last game kept shooting threes down 4 instead of going into their strength as the inside. Great question, Randy. Has Steph changed the game for the better? No. The game where everybody comes down and shoots threes is making the game worse. I agree with that. But that's not to take away from Steph. To me, that's to add to Steph's legacy, because people are trying to be Steph and they're not Steph, right? I mean, nobody'd complain if they were coming down shooting threes every time and they won the game. You wouldn't ask me that question. You know what I mean? Because threes won the game. And if they were as good as Steph, they would have hit the threes. You see what I'm saying? Yeah, Steph made it to where everybody wants to pull up from the logo and shoot threes now. Well, not everybody's Steph Curry, and there's some guys out there that are getting pretty good and they're pretty good three-point shooters. But he has changed the game. But I agree with your dad's question. I wanted to make sure I addressed that the game has got bad when everybody wants to shoot threes all the time.
Well, my dad just said, Adam, we made the Final Four with MASH. Okay. I seem to remember another guy saying that it's championship or bust.
I got to take it for your dad.
I'm tired of hearing that.
This was like the '98
team.
Wasn't expected to be there.
Okay, but we don't talk about the 2015 team as being like they went on this 31-0 record and whatever.
It's all
but
about
you know what?
expectations.
That team would have been the greatest team that ever played at Kentucky if they win the chip. But we always say because they didn't, they're not.
It's all about expectations, man. That '98 team wasn't expected to get to a Final Four, so I don't think they were anyway. And they didn't play the most of the season.
Yeah, but they cut the nets down, baby.
That's why you love them so much. Well, it's the same thing, man. It's expectations. You know what I'm saying?
Okay, well.
So, yeah. The three-pointers people are shooting too many threes now, and it's all about who's getting hot is who's going to win. I don't like the game of basketball as much today as I did, 8 or 10 years ago. All right, now, Adam, on to the thing that you were talking about, the one-and-dones. We really need to talk about that real quick.
Real quick, because we don't have much time left in the show. But listen, y'all, I'm going to talk to everybody on Big Blue Nations out there that's watching right now. We just need to embrace the one-and-dones. We need to let that happen again.
Mm-hmm.
We need to be the cool school again. And people are going to say, well, I can't get into liking a player that's only been here a year and I never get to know him. Well, we got to know some others pretty darn well. That worked out perfect for us, didn't it? I'm not naming names, Tim. I'm not. But my point is, the guys that end up being 3- and 4-year players,
they're there for a reason.
There's a reason they didn't go to the NBA.
Here's what happened, man. When we were going by Cal's rules, of getting all. Let's do all one and dones, whatever it takes. We got up to 2015, right? Right. What happened in 2015? We beat everybody to the last game.
And by the way, people say that
last
game was Cal's fault, and I agree with you for the most part. Harrison Twins should have not been in the game, but you know what? Part of me takes up for him in that moment because as a coach, I mean, they got you 38 wins straight.
Yeah. And their guys had been in the system for an extra year.
And we had close games that year.
They were the veterans. I get it. I do blame him, but I get it.
But what I really blame is the fact that we didn't get the shot clock violation call that we should have got.
Look, all that's getting into too much details.
I'm just saying.
What we're trying to say is things were doing really good until 2015 when we got beat, and everybody's like, cannot win with them one and dones. And you know what? He said, okay, all right.
Well,
we'll go out and get some 2 or 3 year players.
Really, it didn't happen until about 18.
Well, that's when we started being more of an effect.
Because Monk and Fox year, if they don't put us against North Carolina, is in the Final Four.
Yeah, but what we're saying, to stick to our point, is when he started bringing in transfers and not just getting all the best one and done guys, the results haven't been as good as the one and done guys. Right? It's not been as good. I hate to say it because I was the same way. I was like, get experience.
And look, maybe – I mean, Dad's right. We had better NBA players on the 2015 team on the bench. You're right.
Yeah.
You're exactly right. Ulyss and Booker are way better.
And what we're trying to say is – here's what we're trying to say. Tell me if I'm right, Adam, before the show's over. We want the 2015 team again every year. Even though we got beat at the end, we want that team.
He said that he would never do that again. Why not, Cal? That works. Mm-hmm. It worked.
Look, the last 3 years, 4 years, 5 years, do you want those type of teams or do we want the 2015 to 2010 teams?
This game is never talked about. Never, ever, ever talked about. But it's a game I've just always remembered. Do you remember in 2015 when we opened the season in the Champions Classic against UCLA and by the first TV timeout it was 20-0? That was the coolest moment. Yeah. I was like, "Oh my gosh, this team's not losing to anybody."
Yeah, crazy, man.
This team is not losing to anybody.
And that's the thing. When you do all the one and dones, you've got the best chance to win the game every time you go out there. You've got the best players. You got the best athletes. You might not win it all. You sure got a good chance.
Yeah. It's the fact that Duke started out recruiting Kentucky with one and dones. That's what happened. Well. Maybe.
But did they just completely start just magically out recruiting Cal, or did Cal turn that down a notch?
I think he turned
Did he go in another direction?
I think he went in another direction because he was getting pressure from the fan base.
Yeah, I think Cal went in a different direction.
And look, I agree you have to have some veterans on the floor. You do. You need that. I mean, I don't think we went in 20
Scott's art says exactly. On the fact that Duke started out recruiting. We all know that. That's not I'm not being mean, but we all know that. We all know Duke started getting the one and dones. What we're saying is why, not did it happen. Why did it happen? Did Cal turn it back a notch and go, I want to start getting some more experienced players? I think so.
So the other thing was, and I agree you have to have veteran leadership. I think Cal needs to get that combination of both. He can't go one way or the other. He has to have a lot of one and dones and a couple of veterans to back him.
Yeah.
Like in 2012, for example. That was the perfect storm of a year. Yes, you had a freak of a nature in Anthony Davis.
Yeah.
But you also had Darius Miller. I don't think they win that season without Darius Miller.
No. Miller was definitely the X factor.
He was the one that when they were kind of in a like, oh gosh, I'm scared, he'd get them in a huddle and go, whoa guys, we've got this. We've been here before. Now, granted, they were just there the year before in the Final Four. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, that was a fun run. We need to get back to that. We need to be the cool school. I remember when John Wall came on campus, dude, we were the coolest program in all.
Man, that's when it all started.
It was just, it was just, nothing was better.
And then for 5-6 straight years, man, it was just awesome. Every year, like Kentucky was number one. Preseason, it was all people talked about. Terrence Clark, that's the one I was trying to think of, Jimbo.
Terrence Jones.
That was huge.
Coming back as a junior was pretty significant too.
Terrence Jones, I always say that. Terrence Jones coming back was huge, Jimbo. Good call.
Tim Beeson, you're right. He needs 3 to 4 one-and-dones and 2 core solid veterans.
Yes,
that's the best take you've ever had, Tim Beeson.
Good job, Tim. Way to come in strong. And you know what? 3 is the minimum. You have to have 3 one-and-done guys that are ballers.
Yes.
That can go get their shot, can go score when they want to.
And by the way, when I say one-and-dones.
Not B.J. Boston.
When I I can't believe you just said that.
I'm sorry. I shouldn't have said that.
Well, he's in the NBA now.
Yeah, well, I hope you can help them.
Why did you do that? I can't even with you.
I threw you plumb off, didn't I?
Yeah, you did, because you just can't help yourself.
Dude.
I was trying to make a point to not
the
call out any
Fox
players.
And John Wall
I do
guys.
too. I miss them too.
Brandon
but what I'm
Knight.
saying is if we can get to a level where, like, we're not recruiting the top 10 to 30 guys, and we're going for top 10.
Yeah, we
so
got to
10
get
through
back.
30. We got to, because one and dones don't count. Like, they may be
I'm
one
never
and
going to
dones.
complain about one and done again, ever.
No, I am if we continually get the 10 through 30. Okay? But the other thing is, too, if you're top 10 and you come to Kentucky, you best suit up, and no, by the way, you best play.
Oh,
because the Shaden Sharp situation, if that ever happens again.
Does anybody ever doubt that I'll always be a Kentucky fan? Check that out. Got it all over. Wildcat Sports Talk. You know who did this? You know who did all this Kentucky? Paige Sizemore. Check her out on Facebook. She'll give you a Kentucky tattoo. Hey, Adam, she's unbelievable, dude. Hey, you got to go catch up with me, man.
I'm proud of you. Listen, I was on something there.
I had to do a shout-out.
But what I'm saying is we've got to get back to that. We will get back to that. Thank you guys so much for tuning in to another great episode of Wildcat Sports Talk presented by the Kentucky Daily. I want to tell you guys, make sure you're checking us out on all the platforms. And if you don't care, hit that share button. And if you don't know about the show, or if it's the first time you're ever hearing of it, well, make sure you go follow us on Facebook. Wildcat Sports Talk is there. Twitter, YouTube, the whole 9 yards. You can follow us anywhere your heart desires, and you can even Google us. We're right there, too. So anytime, any place, we're all over the place. My name's Adam.
My name's Tim.
We are Wildcat Sports Talk. Y'all take care and have a great week. We'll see you next time.
Our best blue jeans have skull rings. We wear our boots to church. So rough around the edges, it's hard to believe that girls like you